My name is Rebecca Ryder, and I'm going to explain separation of powers applying the Constitution in plain English. The Constitution builds the executive, legislative, and judicial branch, but separates the powers so not one group has all the power. Article 1 of the Constitution sets up the legislative branch of the government. This building is the Capitol building where Congress meets. Article 1, Section 1 of the Constitution gives Congress the power to make laws. This is the seal of Congress, and the book represents the laws Congress makes. Article 2 of the Constitution sets up the executive branch of the government. The White House is where the president lives and where he works. Article 2, Section 1 of the Constitution gives the president the power to carry out laws. This is President Barack Obama. The law book shows that the president can carry out laws. Article 3 of the Constitution sets up the judicial branch of the government. This is the Supreme Court building where judicial branch makes decisions about trials and about the laws. Article 3, Section 1 of the Constitution gives the Supreme Court the power to decide legal cases. The gavel shows how the Supreme Court can make decisions at legal cases. The law book shows how the Supreme Court uses the Constitution as a guideline. Separation of powers is the most important principle in the U.S. Constitution because without it, one group of person would have all the power. It would be a dictatorship. If one person had all the power, everything else in the Constitution wouldn't matter because a dictator would order people around. It would not matter to him what the Constitution says. This is why separation of powers is so important. Separation of powers relates to the government shutdown that occurred because Congress did not pass the budget. This is Congress's job, making laws and passing the budget. But even if Congress does pass a bill, the president has to approve of it to make it law. Even though the president passes the laws, he cannot make them. He can propose them, though. This process makes sure no one gets too much power. Government would be different today if separation of powers was removed from the U.S. Constitution because we would probably be living in a monarchy or a dictatorship. If we didn't have separation of powers to separate the power, one person would have all of it and change the Constitution. All the work spent on the Constitution would not matter because the one with the power could change the Constitution. Separation of powers is important.